Imagine a world where the origins of our modern civilization lie not in the familiar lands of Egypt or Mesopotamia, but in the forgotten realms of pre-Diluvian times. Picture the ancient Druids, not merely as local mystics, but as global keepers of a truth that predates the pyramids and spans continents. Unveil the secrets of civilizations that existed 13,500 years ago, whose cultural legacies were carried across oceans to Britain and Scandinavia. Join us as we explore how these lost worlds and their knowledge shaped the foundation of our history, challenging everything we thought we knew about the dawn of human civilization. This explosive revelation presents a direct challenge to the established powers. It's a truth that they desperately want to keep hidden from the world. So, when we delve into Irish culture, we're often presented with claims of its Eastern origins. Various authors passionately perpetuate this misleading narrative time and time again. They emphasize later migrations, disregarding the foundational empires of Irish knowledge that once thrived. Secrets of the Ancients: How Pre-Diluvian Civilizations Shaped Our World. The elements of modern civilizations originated in pre-Diluvian times, long before the official dates given for the advent of sophisticated human artifice. Despite the destruction of ancient civilizations that many argue never existed, evidence increasingly supports their existence. These prehistoric civilizations, dating back approximately 13,500 years, were responsible for cultural elements transported to Britain and Scandinavia. The preservers and disseminators of this pre-Diluvian knowledge was the Druids, a priesthood whose name means servant or keeper of the truth. Contrary to popular belief, the Druids were a global priesthood, not confined to Western Europe. In Egypt, the Druids were known as Amonists. The cosmologies and pantheons of India, Egypt, Italy, Greece, and other countries did not originate indigenously but were derived from Britain and Scandinavia. Post-Diluvian elements of civilization originated not in Egypt but in Ireland. From Britain and Scandinavia, these elements spread throughout the world. This fact is often denied, as it would lead to speculation about Atlantis, the Age of Catastrophe, and the ancient history of the human race, which challenges the fundamental tenets of modern science and religion. Primordial connections existed between Britain and Egypt. Long before the first official dynasties, over 4,000 years ago, the Western Arya migrated to the Middle and Far East, establishing new civilizations and enriching existing ones. Their remains have been found in Upper Egypt and farther east. They were the original architects of the Giza pyramids and many sacred Nile temples. They introduced the worship of Amun-Ra, Osiris, Horus, and Isis. Meanwhile, in the east, the Arya referred to their western habitats as lands of the dead due to the colossal devastation that occurred there. A decoding of Irish mythology, together with a study of ancient texts such as the Book of Invasions, Le Bar Gaba, the Book of Leinster, the Book of Lacan, the Book of Ballymote, the Historia Britonum, the Scotichronicon, Chronicle of the Scots, and the Annals of Inishfallen, lead us to understand how the land of Ireland fell out of the hands of the gods and into the hands of mortals. It is understood that the country's priestesses predicted the decline of the Golden Age and the rise of another age dominated by spiritless people committed to debauchery, betrayal, and evil. This evil was the consequence of the intrigues of those Eastern invaders who belligerently conquered the land of Ireland, taking it as a replacement for their lost Egyptian throne. Based on the given accounts, Ith, Mile, Don, and Eber, referred to as Milesians, were blood related to the Egyptian cult of Aton. What is the cult of Aton? These were followers of the most famous and perhaps crazed pharaoh Akhenaten. Who was this Aton? Aton is the god referred to as the Lord of Light. These daring demagogues set their sights on seizing control of the fabled island teeming with precious minerals, strategically poised and blessed with a balmy temperate climate. This legendary island was none other than the fortunate lands in the western expanses, lying beyond the awe-inspiring Pillars of the Giants, also known as the Giants' Causeway, County Antrim, Northern Ireland, unveiling the epic saga of the Milesians and the legendary Island of Treasures. The epic tale of the Milesians unfolds with Ith, the brave son of the illustrious Spanish kings Briagan. Briagan, a direct descendant of the Scythian king Phineas Farsa, traced his lineage to Niall, or Nell, or Ni, who had the distinguished honor of residing as a cherished guest in the courts of the Egyptian pharaohs, likely those of Lower Egypt. According to the ancestral lore, Niall was bestowed with lands and privileges by the Egyptian rulers due to his father, Phineas Farsa, being the visionary founder and learned instructor at one of the world's most esteemed seats of learning, according to the Lebor Gabala Eren. After his arrival, Niall set up his own seats of learning in Egypt. Legend has it that the people of Phineas, whose name is connected to Phoenix and Phoenician, eventually became rulers in Egypt after losing their thrones in their own lands. One of the remembered Scythian capitals was at Galilee, place of the Gauls. There's so much to unpack in these historical details about Scythopolis, later known as Beth Shean and Basin. The references to the biblical terms Gog and Magog and their connection to early tribes like the Huns and Cimmerians are truly captivating. The notion that Gog and Magog refer to Russia adds another layer of depth to this historical account. Equally thrilling is the dramatic explosion of Farsa's horde from Egypt, an event shrouded in mystique and ancient intrigue. These details truly transport us to a time of remarkable upheaval and movement across the lands. It is said that Farsa's horde was expelled from Egypt because Farsa's people would not assist in the persecution of the Israelites. After his expulsion, Farsa and his entourage moved westward toward the lands from which they had first come. This myth reveals that Niall and his Scythians were most probably guests of the Tutmoses, Atonist pharaohs of Lower Egypt. This would have made them rivals to the Theban Ammonists of Upper Egypt who had crushed the Atonists. Ammonists, represented by the bull, would certainly have considered the Scythians a danger and would have sent them packing along their Atonist allies. Since the Ammonists were allied to the Druids of Ireland, the Scythians would most likely have been unwelcome guests. From Dannan to Milesians, myth, legend, and the making of Ireland. Ith, the son of Briagan, supposedly built a tall tower in Spain to see the coast of Ireland. He then visited Derry in Northern Ireland and met the three Dannan kings. The legends suggest that Ith met people who spoke a refined form of Gaelic. Historians say that the Milesians understood their language because, a few centuries earlier, all the known world's languages had been researched, studied, and taught at the great Scythian colleges founded by Phineas Farsa. Ith was not trusted and was suspected by the Dannan kings of being a vanguard for invaders. They decided to take his life. His remains are said to lie in the place known as Ithis Plain. Afterward, Ithis kingsman Mile gathered an army and attacked the Dannan in their capital, Drumcain, later known as Tamer or Tara. Mile was accompanied by the bard Amergin and his 8 sons, including Kolpa, Ir, and Eber. One of his sons had the suggestive name Aranon, similar to Aaron. The first son of Mile was named Dawn. He and his descendants were believed to have been cursed by a goddess of the Dannan. 2 of his descendants, Ir and Kolpa, died by drowning. Legend has it that as Miles's army marched toward Tara, they encountered 3 goddesses who were married to the 3 kings of Ireland, Banba, Fotla, and Eri. Each goddess asked Mile to name the country after them, and he agreed, which is why Ireland has been associated with the names of these Dannan goddesses throughout history. According to J.A. McCullough, The Religion of the Ancient Celts, the Tuatha De Danann were the rulers of Ireland until the arrival of the Milesians, who were named after their leader, a man named Mile. One of their scouts, Ith, was killed. The Milesians decided to invade Ireland. Despite a mist raised by the Druids, they managed to land and confront the three princes who were responsible for Itha's death. The princes agreed to let the Milesian poet Amergin decide their fate. Amergin instructed the Milesians to re-embark and move away from the shore by the distance of 9 waves. If they could then effect the landing, Ireland was theirs. A magic storm was raised, which wrecked many of their ships, but Amergin recited verses, fragments perhaps of some old ritual, and overcame the dangers. After their defeat, the survivors of the Tuatha De Danann retired into the hills to become a fairy, folk, and the Milesians, the Goyds or Scots, became ancestors of the Irish. In unraveling the mysteries of Ireland's ancient past, we glimpse a tapestry woven with threads of myth and history spanning continents and millennia. The journey from the pre-Diluvian civilizations to the clash of the Dannan and Milesians reveals not just a conquest, but cultural exchange and transformation. It challenges us to rethink the origins of our modern world and the enduring legacies of forgotten empires. As we peer through the mists of time, Ireland's story emerges as a testament to resilience and adaptation where gods and mortals entwine, shaping the narrative of human civilizations. Go ahead and hit that like button, share the video, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.